Have you heard of this story from Mark Andreessen, the guy you see here in the picture, considered to be one of the smartest guys in the Americas? He was addressing a conference and he was actually getting late to catch a plane, but the audience wouldn't stop asking questions. So at one point, he said, guys, why don't we keep it simple? Because anyway, there are only two ways of making money in the business. One is either you bundle something or you unbundle something. Now, when there is so much noise in the industry and so many buzzwords that you see here on the slide, you would ask, what's this really got to do with the topic today? So let me take a step back here. My name is Vishnu. I'm your host today on the topic of optimizing engineering services. I'm an advisor working in the smart manufacturing practice at ISG, and I typically work with the engineering companies to help them with their classical cost, quality, and time issues. Now, at the end of next 15 minutes or so, my objective really is to give you a very simple framework of this bundle and unbundle and how it can be applied in the context of engineering to help them stay on the top of the game. While this is predominantly for engineering organization, it's also for IT and procurement organizations because they are also trying to struggle with some of the similar challenges. So before we jump into the topic, I thought it really makes sense to take a stop here for a minute and ask the questions why it is really difficult for the engineering organizations to survive today. And that's because, so first of all, to all the engineers out there, a big kudos because you are not just designing the products, but you are designing products plus services and experiences. And actually, many of you don't realize it, but that's a classical formula of, yes, you're right, that's a formula for business models. So you're actually helping companies to define the business models. The second is about the functionality. Today, there is no point where you can say, yes, the functionality of the product is over and I'm pushing it out there in the market because the functionality continuously keeps on evolving even after the start of production. So you are enabling that. The third is the way you capture the profit is not just through hardware and products today, but via software and data, and which is incredibly difficult. And lastly, when all the machines and products are connected to the internet, you are trying to address all the security issues. So if you see, these are some of the really, really difficult challenges for the engineers to solve. And hence, as I promised in the beginning, why don't we use this simple framework of bundle and one bundle and try to see if it can solve some of these challenges. So here it goes. So first, rebundle major shift that we see in the market is on the business models. So what it means is you combine the hardware like stickiness with the software like recurring revenue, and then you get a new rebundled business model for the IoT. The second rebundling is happening on the architecture and technology side. With the help of platforms in between, you could really unbundle software on one side and hardware on another side. And this will really make it possible to have fast and frequent releases of functionalities in the products. The third is we can't forget the people. So on the rebundling organizations, I typically call these as different empires working in silos. Uh, and now we have these cross-cutting software domains which run across and make the life of all the departments easier. And lastly, on the rebundling ecosystem, today you don't see typically this tier one, tier two, tier three type of a linear ecosystem because it is getting unbundled and then rebundled into what we call as many to many interactions. So at this point in time, I really want to stay with me because what we are going to do together is to see some real examples across these four categories to drive home the point. So let's start with the first one on the business models. And what we said here is we need to combine the stickiness of hardware with the recurring revenues of software. And you would ask, how do we do this? We could think of this across different aspects. So for example, in the product performance, in terms of personalizing the product and charging for it. Let's say in safety, you could have some proactive feature based on the context in which the product is used and again charge for it and so on and so forth, right? But why don't we take a concrete example, let's say on the first category, and here it goes. Let's say you drive from Monday to Friday to work in a busy city with traffic, and you want the car to be fully optimized for energy. You want to have eco functionality, you want to drive it a EV mode, right? But come weekend and you go off-roading, and now you expect the car to dynamically adapt to a completely new set of functionalities. So for example, you would want extra power and some other services. So while you're having this fun on the weekend, now think about behind the scene, what the engineer is doing to make this happen. The engineers behind the scene is working simultaneously to optimize quite a number of things so that this, what you see on the slide, makes possible. And what the engineer is doing is this. Engineer is working across a set of development KPIs and operational KPIs. So for example, how do I reduce the lead time? How do I automate all the builds? How do I reduce the, let's say, testing cycles, and so on and so forth. And similarly, on the second row, you see some of the operational KPIs. For example, how do I ensure very high availability of the functionality? Because you are certainly not going to like it when your car breaks down in the off-roading mode. And actually, even if it does, engineer is ensuring how do I reduce the time for issue resolution, right? So because of all these things, that weekdays and weekend example that we said is making happen. The second one, then we go to the rebundling pattern in the hardware and software side. And you see on the picture here, there are services on the top, and typically they are connected in a crisscross and haphazard way to the hardware and electronics at the bottom. Now, what this makes is, or what this does is, because of the interdependencies, it becomes really difficult to go back to our example again. It becomes difficult to make the changes in the product at a single click of a button. So what we do is we introduce this cross-cutting layer of software platform, which separates the services and software on the top and hardware at the bottom. And it also allows the ecosystem to very easily plug in via APIs. Another thing to note here is that if you realize the architecture actually extends by design into the cloud. What that means is the engineer is not only focusing on how do I optimize the in-car or onboard architecture, but he actually now has to work with the IT guys to optimize the full cloud to edge, as they say, cloud to edge spectrum. So what have we covered so far? First, we said there are rebundling patterns on the business model. Then we said there are rebundling on the hardware and software. And we can't forget people, because they are the essential part of making this happen. And hence we go to the third part now, is rebundling the organization. So to make this hardware and software rebundling possible, we need to look at the organization from a new way. If you look at the picture here, I typically call this vertical blue boxes as kingdoms, because if you go to, let's say, infotainment kingdom, the king there will typically make his own choices of what hardware I want to use, what software I want to use, what toolchain I want to use, or which ecosystem partner I want to collaborate. And similarly, if you go to the next kingdom of ADAS, the king there will be making the same set of choices. So as you realize, there is a lot of duplication, there's a lot of interdependency, right? So what we then propose is we go to these kingdoms and say, hey, Mr. King, you are really good in your functional domain, and we want it to be that way. You focus on your functionality and let the common cross-cutting topics of platforms and software to run across centrally, de-linked from your functional domains. And I promised you only a few hours, and I think so I'm doing pretty good on time, because we are now moving to the last rebundling pattern of ecosystem. Because when we talk of the software-hardware separation, it needs a fundamental change in the way we cut the ecosystem cake, so to say. And this is how it goes in the picture. At the bottom, you have these professional vendors, which are typically global service providers, giving you a best kind of a package of capabilities and costs. In the middle, you have niche and specialized vendors, typically on the new topics in the software. And on the top, you have the platform vendors, not just the cloud platforms, but there are some edge platforms as well coming up. Now, if we take care of this rebundling on the ecosystem side, it's not enough, but because we also have to look at some new decision parameters, which are mentioned on the right side from the procurement perspective. So today, the procurement is faced with pretty new questions such as build by partner, should we reshore, how do I ensure modular contracts so that the hardware and software suppliers can work seamlessly, and so on and so forth. So with this, let me do a recap here. What we said is we are going to use this bundle unbundle pattern, which really helps us to cut through the noise in the industry and think a very simple way of adding value to the business, right? Across four parameters that we saw: business model, architecture, organization, and ecosystem. And typically, engineers are straight to the point and very practical guys. I like to quote this from Pablo Picasso. He said, when art critics come together, they typically talk about very fancy things like form, structure, meaning. But when you really talk to a true artist, he will ask you a simple question as, where can I buy cheap turpentine? Of course, when you're in doubt, you can always reach out to ISG. And I thank you for being here with me today. And I hope this was useful. Next, we are moving to a very interesting session called World Class IT. It's a panel discussion hosted by one of my colleagues, Matthias Schenk. So, Matthias, the stage is all yours. Thank you.